Do I have to ask you about sandwiches?
No, you can just skip that one.
Thank you for that. Because sandwiches is the worst point about your personality. I just don't get why so many people care about you eating a sandwich.
We just keep bringing you quality content. You're too lucky. It is the one that no one asked for. Sheff United Way, Q&A, the Sheff United Way, Sheff Q&A, the way. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It all ends up being pretty much exactly the same. My name's Hal. That's Nick. How are you?
I'm very good, mate. And straight away, Sheff United Way Q&A, it rhymes. It's perfect. You don't need to mess about with it. And certainly not Sheffield Q&A Way. That sounded horrific.
The worst one. I think we can all agree on that. And that's why I left it till last. Will we have left the worst questions from you till last? We said on social media, if you want to send us any questions, and you have delivered. Let's dive straight in. Darren asks, how and when did we first meet? Nick, this is all down to you, so why don't you field this one?
I remember seeing you for the first time, but I can't remember what game it was.
I think the question is probably going to be more along the lines of like,
how did it come about?
Yeah. And then we met. I think it was Huddersfield at home was the first time we met.
You sat next to me, didn't you? And it was Billy Sharp scoring a last-minute equaliser, or what we thought was a last-minute equaliser, for them just to go the other end and score the winner.
Absolutely. Awful game. But that was the first time we'd ever met. Yeah.
So how it happened, I just messaged you out of the blue, didn't I? Because I saw your name, JNC Pod, I think it was at the time, for the OGs. And it said that you did a podcast. So I was just like, he might be all right for the channel. Because I wanted to kind of branch out and get more voices on the channel. Unfortunately, that voice wasn't a Sheffield voice, and it was it's Southerner, wasn't it?
I'm not a Southerner. I was born in Scotland. Absolute nonsense. So yeah, that's how it happened. Just reached out on social media, and then we eventually met probably about a year later.
Yeah, why was that? Oh, it was lockdown and stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, lockdown. Next question. Vicky asks, which area of the team needs strengthening the most? I like these kind of questions because it instantly dates the video. Nick.
I was just going to say, I'm not here to talk about the team right now. I thought we were just going to have a bit of fun.
All right, you don't want serious ones. I will.
I'll give a quick answer.
Goalkeeper.
Left centre-back.
Okay.
Goalkeeper. Mm-hmm. And we need a 1,000-goal a season striker.
They are hard to come by. Nippon says, biases aside, do you think Sheffield United will be this season's surprise package, e.g. decent cup run, top half finish, or maybe a European spot? Hey, if there's one man that loves a surprise package, what do you think? Any chance of maybe 9th like we did under Chris Wilder?
No, but I think the season we finished 9th, I didn't expect us to be the surprise package anyway. So I think under Wilder, we were the surprise package going into the championship because we were top at one point. I remember having banter with one of my mates who's a Wolves fan, and I'm like, you're not catching us. And then they caught us, won the league, and we finished like 9th, 10th or something like that. I don't expect us to be the surprise package. Just a surprise would be to stay up, to be honest, because everybody's writing us off. I think a large part of our fan base is writing us off as well.
Next question comes from Greystone's Blade on Twitter.
You could answer any questions.
Yeah, this one. Greystone's Blade on Twitter. What are your thoughts on fan-generated continental-type atmospheres, Tfos, etc., created by groups such as Forza Garibaldi? You've got them at Forest because they love biscuits. And, of course, you've got the fans at Crystal Palace behind the goal. They make a lot of noise. Would it happen at Bramall Lane? Well, I'm going to field this one because not only do I currently live in a country where you do have these ultras, I've experienced it in Germany, Spain, and Italy, where I've been for a period of time. And also I tried, you probably don't know this, I tried to, with a group back in the early noughties, get a singing section started on the Cobb. I wasn't the instigator, but there was people who were trying to get it going, and I was involved in that. It was a bit of pushback from the club. I don't think they really wanted it. We wanted it to be like what Palace have. And if you look at Palace's home record since they've had that singing section, it's made absolutely no difference whatsoever. But I like it. I like it as a concept. And in Cyprus, where I am, you've got this area behind the goal. They call it Gate 1. There's the Gate 1 Ultras of 𝗵𝗠𝗂𝗺. It's Gate 3, I think, for 𝗵𝗠𝗂𝗵. It's boring, but the point is, and this is a really interesting bit, they all drink water. They're all like me. They drink copious amounts of water. Alcohol doesn't seem to be a big part of the culture. And it's more about, and it's not about the game. It's certainly not about the game. It's more about making as much noise as you can. You've always got people who are facing away, or one or two on a stand with a microphone. They're organising the chants. Everyone's doing them. I've always felt it's like you're not going to watch a football match. You're part of an album, and they're going through the 12 tracks. And you might get a few bonus tracks in there, but everyone seems to know the words, except me, at these. And I've learned some of them, but I've also experienced it in Italy. It's not as freeform. It's not as spontaneous. You don't get those funny chants that happen when something happens on the pitch. And actually, what happens on the pitch is largely irrelevant to what's going on in the stands. And I find that quite a shame because they don't really react to what you're seeing. And I prefer the more relaxed approach because it can be quite relaxing just to watch a game. You don't feel like you've got to jump, turn around, hold someone's shoulder. Sometimes I can't be doing with that. But also I think Bramall Lane's atmosphere recent years has been bad. Although I do think in the Premier League, because we'll be the underdogs, it will be, and we've already seen it, it will be really, really good.
So the Tfos, Hal, I don't really get them because I see them on FIFA and it does my head in seeing them. Do they block the pitch for the fans?
So the Tfos, for those that don't know, are like the visual choreography, the flags, the signs of the banners. Yes, I've actually got videos of goals I've missed because you've got these Burks waving these big flags. There must be a bugger to wash, and you miss the whole game, really. So yeah, we often move, the guys I go with, if someone plonks one of these big things in front of us. But they're not watching the game, interestingly. You've got to be strong as well to do them. And at the end of the game, they have to take them off the pole. And I remember seeing one guy, he'd sellotaped the flag onto the pole and he couldn't get it off, so he burnt it off with a lighter, which I thought, that is a recipe for disaster. But luckily, the whole flag didn't go up. Idiot. Nick Ian asks, 5 million to never watch United ever again. Do you take it, sir?
Do you want my honest answer? Or do you want
I want you to
the
lie.
Sheff? Okay, I would never take that. Never in a million years. I would never want to miss a game that Sheffield United are playing.
Right. Now, it doesn't specify if it's like go live or you can still watch them on telly, but I'm going to assume you can't watch them on telly. You can't go to the game. Nothing. Now give me your lie.
I would...
No,
I don't know what to say now.
Now give me your truthful answer.
5 million quid. Mate,
Yeah.
I know. 5 million quid.
And Ian's got it.
Wouldn't have to work. Wouldn't have to work ever again. That's the biggest problem of my life, that I have to go to work every day.
Yeah, it's the biggest problem for your boss as well.
Wait.
He just keeps on turning up. We've given all the hints.
Oh, go on then, Hal. Give us your honest truth.
Would I take 5 million to never watch United again? Absolutely not. I wouldn't even consider it. I am, and you know this actually from doing this. I am not motivated by money at all. I'm motivated by joy and the things I enjoy. So no, I'd rather watch United, and I don't like being told what to do. So no, absolutely not.
I think I would take the 5 million and then regret it.
Yeah,
that's what I think I would do.
Because it's Jim Carrey who said, "I wish everyone could be rich and famous so that they find out it's not the answer."
There you go.
Getting deep on the Sheff United way. Lee wants to know, what's your most embarrassing moment at a football match? I've had a few embarrassing moments. I think it was when I was with you. And there was this guy who came up to us. He was like, "Oh, wow, this is amazing. Sheff United way." And he looked at me and he went, "Can you take a picture of Nick and me?"
Well, I remember that. Where were we?
We were in the box for that one. I didn't want to say that bit.
All right, okay. That is brilliant. I forgot that happened. Yeah, I'm very surprised. I thought it'd be the other way around, to be honest. Second-hand embarrassment, I've got a story, because I haven't really got many embarrassing stories about me at football. But second-hand embarrassment, when we went with Bob Harris to the Preston game, and someone came up to us to say that they loved the channel and stuff, and you were like, this is Bob Harris. He literally played for the football club that
I hated this.
we support. And he just went, huh.
It was
Okay.
awful. That.
Anyway, I was just gobsmacked because, like, how do you not know who he is? And if you do know who he is, that's a shocking way of treating him.
Yeah, but the guy was a fan of ours, so he's probably watching this. So I won't say any more on that.
I've got a funny story about what happened to my mate of mine, Ewan.
Yeah.
Cut
the Harris one out, Nick.
He told me that when he was celebrating one of the goals recently, he put his hand in someone's mouth by accident when he was celebrating, which I thought was absolutely fantastic.
Sort of like a Mr. Socko.
Yeah, so like, yeah.
James asks, what's your respective match day routine? And connected to this, we'll just roll into this one. Adam asks a question sort of related to that about sandwiches. So, Nick, you can have a look at that one, see if you actually want to throw that at me, because I know you're not a fan of the sandwich questions.
I just don't get why so many people care about you eating a sandwich. So, Hal, we all know that your sandwiches are part of your match day routine food that you eat on a match day. Question is, do you maintain the same sandwich if we are on a winning run? And question for Nick, do you have a match day food which you eat on a regular basis, or do you just play it by ear? Now, I will quickly jump in there because mine will be quick and simple, unlike yours.
But like yourself.
Very good. I park up and I walk kind of on Shoreham Street, and then I get a sandwich pretty much every single time I go to the match from that corner shop. I can't remember what it's called. It's not Super Snacks. It's called something else. And I've mentioned this before, and someone told me what it is in the comments. So you're going to have to do it again. But I get a bacon and sausage, a large one, like an XL one from there, and then have a beer.
Yeah, I got one of those sandwiches with you, and I think you can tell that I am not used to eating food in public because I ate like it was a sit-down meal slowly, and you'd all finished, you and your whole family, and I was still just like, oh, we're rushing this out. Oh, okay. So my mum makes sandwiches for me, and if we've won, I ask for exactly the same filling each time. It's as simple as that. And the worst decision I ever made was just before the Forest playoff first leg, which you might remember was a very hot day. The Fulham game before, had eaten my Coronation chicken, I think it was, sandwich after the game. That was a cold game. And so I thought I'll do the same for Forest. So I left them in the car. I got back to the car. And I mean, it was a really hot day. They were hot. They were hot sandwiches. Let's just say next day was a write-off.
I can imagine. That sounds horrific. When you realised that the sandwiches were hot, what made you think, ooh, tasty?
I know, and I shouldn't have even still eaten them because we'd lost the game.
Yeah, we'd lost.
It felt like the right thing to do. She'd made all the effort to make them. Part of me was then thinking, well, is the luck actually because I ate them afterwards for the next game? And the next game's Forest away, and I can't be responsible for us losing that. So, really, really bad decision, I guess, in the long term. Now, next question. Charlotte asks, do you have a second club you look out for in any league?
I'll take this one because I've always wanted a second team to support abroad, but I've never cared enough. Dean from DSM, the guy that we both know, he goes to watch Elche in Spain, and it's like, I'd love to be able to just pick a team and just go, but I don't care enough about anyone else other than Sheff United, to be fair. I've liked kind of like teams of the past, like Arsenal when they were like the Invincibles, great football inside, and teams like. But these days, I don't care about anyone other than the boys.
Yeah, I'm the same. I watch lots of other teams depending on where I've lived. I've lived in lots of different countries, so I have watched lots of different teams. I've watched Real Mallorca home and away. I've watched Darlington home and away, York City home and away, Seattle Sounders, St. Pauli, Hanover 96, Apollon, lots of different teams. So none of them that I really care about, if you know what I mean. I just go because it's something to do, and they usually don't clash with Sheffield United, so I can usually do both.
I'd like to at least go to one game next season of Notts Counties just to see the great man Didsy play.
Yeah, I'd go along
again.
with that. Absolutely go along with that. And I have done that when Blades players have been close by or played for a lower league club where I've lived. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I did say that about Mark Duffy and never went, and I said that about Didsey last season at Derby and never went, so I'll probably not go.
Yeah, you probably not go. Yeah, you're full of it. Next one's for me.
Peter wants to know, how do you cut sandwiches and your favourite fillings?
I do triangles rather than rectangle sandwiches. And my favourite fillings are definitely coronation chicken. I like butter, Marmite, and cheddar cheese as well. And you never tried that? Try it. Give it a go before you.
I'm not a Marmite fan.
Well,
Marmite's
give it a go.
just Marmite to me.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess that's a. That should be the advert. You need to speak to these people because
True that.
Marmite's just Marmite for me, and you could have different people react to that sentence. You got me going, Marmite's just Marmite for me, and you go, Marmite's just Marmite for me, and I think that works. If the good people from Marmite want to get any of this action, you know what to do.
Exactly.
This action. Yeah, I think that answers the question. Thank you, Peter. That's my favourite one so far. Nick, who's your favourite signing who you thought was going to be rubbish?
Oh, that's good.
It's a good question, that.
It's a very good question. I like this.
I think from Ash, by the way.
From Ash.
That was from Ash.
I think Lunny is obviously a big choice because he didn't get a sniff in the Championship and then seemed to be really good in the Premier League, and he's actually still doing all right, even though Rangers fans are starting to hate him, which I can see why that would come about. It's normally the other way around.
Yeah.
Players that you're really excited for and then do rubbish, like, for instance, Ricky Holmes or someone like that. Ravel Morrison, I had high hopes for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe Didsey, because I weren't very excited about us signing Didsey because I didn't know a lot about him before. My dad had a go at me the other day because when I interviewed him, he said, "Why didn't you tell him what I said 7 years ago? I saw him play at Brahma Lane for Ipswich and said he was brilliant and we should sign him." So there you go, Dad. I've said it on the channel.
You finally mentioned it. For me, Oliver Norwood. I didn't realise he was as good as he was, and I thought these teams keep getting rid of him when they get promotion. How good can he be? And I hadn't really seen enough of him, so I didn't think Oliver Norwood was going to be that good. And boy, was I wrong. From his debut, and even though he missed a pen on his debut, from his debut onwards, I knew he was a top player. Adam, who's your favourite ever Blade with under 10 appearances? I think we've got the same one here, haven't we? Shall I say what? I'll count on three. And
no, I can't
we'll count on
think of
three.
anyone.
We'll count on three, and we'll both say a name. And I'm hoping this is going to work. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Lawrence 𝗏𝗏𝗏.
Superb. Stannington Blades asks, if you could make one change or upgrade to Bramall Lane, what would it be?
Get rid of the poles. Get rid of the poles. I don't know if the roof will collapse, but get rid of them. Let's see.
Why else would they be there?
Why are they there?
To support the
roof. All these years, they've got to have figured out in that time how to get rid of the poles. Like, what have
if someone's
builders
just
been
tuning
doing?
in and just hearing that rant, they've got to figure out all these years how to get rid of the poles. So I'll say B-days.
Oh, shit, you go.
We need B-days in or around Bramall Lane.
What, birthdays?
B-days.
Yeah.
That's in a bidet. Just a sort of small French basin for your bum. Sam has this favourite Sheffield United away game, and he's asked, what's your favourite? He says, mine was Leicester away in the cup game, and we were singing a load of random rubbish at Jamie Vardy. So, Nick, what is your favourite Sheffield United away game?
I've got a few for lots of different reasons. Stoke City away when we got promoted. That was massive because of the aftermath of it all. I think that actually Forest away in the semi-final was one of the best atmospheres I've been to. We obviously won 2-1 but lost on penalties. But going away to Forest, we've never won away in a playoff game, and everybody had written us off, and coming back and winning the game, and just the atmosphere of everyone around you. If you're at that game, you understand exactly what I'm saying.
I mean, for me, I was going to say the Stye when 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and Jaffo scored, because I was just the best age for that, and it meant so much to me because it was my life back then. Beating Leeds, we put 4 past them. Danny Webber scoring after a few minutes. That was what an away end that was that day. That was really special. Beating Newcastle away in the Prem 06-07. Danny Webber from Monty's cross, turning Emre inside out, giving him twisted blood. That was, again, probably the best atmosphere. I remember clapping so much my watch fell off. That was a great away day. Jacob says, Nick, are you going to bring back FIFA pack openings? Oh, FIFA friend.
Hal, do you know what a FIFA pack opening is?
Not a clue, no.
The answer to that question is absolutely not.
Good.
First and foremost, I used to actually spend real money on them, which is not a good way to go. It is pretty much gambling, and no, it's a bad way to go. Move on, next question.
What's your favourite chippy? That is a question from Max. What's Nick's favourite chippy?
It's got to be Tony's in Mosborough. Tony's chippy is absolutely sublime. But I very rarely have Tony's chippy because the queue's so long, so I normally just go to Admiral again.
A sign of quality, though. You know, if people are queuing, they're queuing for a reason. But, you know, save it for a special occasion like, you know, my birthday or Christmas. What about Dylan asks, Wards or Laver?
I think 𝗟𝗓. The Laver just looks more aesthetically pleasing on the eye. Just the Wards one I always felt was a little bit, blocky and a bit meh.
Aesthetically pleasing. You can tell someone's been to London recently with your fancy words. For me, Wards, because that was more my era of really getting into the blades. So even though I think Laver looks a bit nicer, yeah, Wards. I would pick them, and I'd love to see that back if it still existed. Natalie says, what does the future hold for Sheff United Way? And I can't actually believe that anyone asked that question, because that seems like we'd planned that. But I promise you, Natalie did, and you can check that out on Twitter if you don't believe me. So, Nick, you're probably best suited to answer this. What does the future hold for Sheff United Way? Because you shared something with me yesterday, which I don't know if you're ready to reveal.
I think you're alluding to the fact that I showed you a design for a T-shirt that we want to put on sale very, very soon. However, I don't think that's exactly what she's after. I think she's more on about the videos in the long term. But we've obviously got a new website, which is pretty cool. Which I never thought we would get a website. Somebody wanted to make a website for us. What else do we want to do?
Well, that's the point when you give out the web address.
Oh, www.sheffunitedway.co.uk or www.sheffunitedway.com. They both take you to the same website because we are absolutely rolling in it, aren't we?
You're all over the URLs. Outrageous scenes.
We have all the URLs.
Yeah. You type in sheffunitedway.cook Islands. Poor, you just wait and see what happens.
Is that a thing?
Probably not.
No, probably not. I think in the future, we're probably going to try and get loads and loads of Chris Wilder's sort of era footballers on. I'm very excited for that. However, they've got too many followers on Instagram for us just to drop into their DMs like we do some others. So that might take a bit of doing, but I'm looking forward to that. Other than that, I think we're doing pretty much everything that I want us to do.
Yeah, it's very much as you were, but better.
Exactly. We're always better. We're always getting better.
Premier League. I hope you enjoyed the Sheff United Way Q&A with myself, Hal, and Nick. Who knows if we'll do another one of these in the future? I guess it depends if anyone watches it and if the feedback is good and it gets a lot of likes and if any of the people, if any of the more sponsors on board. Is that what you were going for?
No, I was saying go and like it.
Oh, right, go and like it. I was thinking if Big Mar might get in touch. We're in business. Thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll be back next time we're back.